Hi, it's Alicia from the Pretty Brown Eyed Reader. Today I'm coming with the hashtag Read So Lit tag, and it was created by Dee Dee at Brown Girl Reading, and I will leave a link to the original tag. Today I wanted to do the tag and use it as my wrap up for February as a way to discuss the books that I've read during February. So let's jump into the tag. The first question is, what books are you looking forward to reading this February in honor of Black History Month? So I had a list of 4 books that I wanted to attempt. Unforgivable Love, of course, since that is the hashtag Read So Lit read along for 2019. I also had planned to reread Homegoing by Gayasi for my book club that I coordinated my local library. However, I just decided I wasn't going to the meeting. Oh well. And the other 2 books I had on my list were independent authors that had sent me books to review. One of them was this book. It is Souls Exhale by Ambi Izam. And Ambi is a Ghanaian poet, and I had a wonderful time going through her collection. She has 258 pages worth of poems. They're all links. They cover several different themes: relationships, women, men, rape, just loving yourself, all kind of things. I thought it was a great collection. My only criticism is that I think that collection should be broken up into at least 3 or 4 different books. 258 pages of poems is a lot, especially when you have different themes, so that the book could be broken up into themes. But I look forward to reading whatever she publishes next. She is a fabulous poet. I'm not gonna say she's gonna be. She is a fabulous poet. The second independent author that I wanted to read this month was Tangled, and that's by James W. Lewis. I have not gotten to it yet, but I really plan on it. Let me see if you can see that. Not sure. Whenever independent authors send me their books, I always request they send an electronic copy, because they don't need to be spending money on postage or whatnot. I can just read it. I usually read them on my phone because I can do it when I'm at an appointment or something like that. And that way it's not costing them money, and it's not, I don't feel like I'm so obligated to read the book. If I just don't have time, I just don't have time. Okay, so moving on. The second question is, cite and talk about a classic hashtag Read So Lit book published before 1970 that you love. Of course, it had to be my girl. Their Eyes Were Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston. And this should have probably been published like in the 30s, I think. Let's see. Yep, 1937. The thing I love about Zora Neale Hurston is her ability to capture the vernacular of Southern Black people. And Their Eyes Were Watching God does that fabulously. We get to see the role women had, especially Black women had, in that time period and prior. How you really was still, even though slavery is over, the women were almost still the possession of the man. But Jamie, she found some love with TK. He wasn't a perfect man, but at least she got to experience a little something before he passes away. But anyway, if you haven't read Their Eyes Were Watching God, it is a fabulous read. I would caution, anytime you read Zora Neale Hurston, you have to kind of read her words out loud and catch the rhythm. But once you do that, it's easy going. The third question is, what hashtag Read So Lit book would you like to see adapted to film? The Coldest Winter Ever by Sister Souljah. Those of us who kind of grew up in the 90s era, this is like our go-to book. It's was Sister Soldier captured the hip hop era on page by telling the story of this girl, Winter. What I love about the book is that you can teach all of the elements of writing to students using it, and that's what I've done with it before. And it's something that they can relate to and understand. And recently, my book club read this in November because the book was included on the Great American Reads. And we had a huge discussion about this book being included. But once I read it was an excerpt from P. Diddy on it. And I was like, it made me think about that would be the reason why it was included in the Great American Reads, because it crosses gender and everybody could relate to it. As opposed to me, I was expecting someone like Terry McMillan to be on I would have expected her. She's had so many books that have been turned into movies that I would thought that one of her books would have made it. But no, this one did. So I think it would be fabulous to be made into a movie. I understand one time, I think Jada Pinkett Smith had bought the rights to it, but something happened. I would love if Sister Soldier ever got the opportunity to get someone else to buy the rights, or she helped develop and get it into a screenplay. I think it'll be great to bring to screen. Okay, moving right along. The next question is, show and talk about one of your favorite #ReadSoLit books by a male author. And I'm going to talk about Kill 'Em and Leave by James McBride. And this is a nonfiction book that captures the life of James Brown. And Mr. McBride is very brilliant in being able to capture the thoughts, and you almost hear James Brown on the page while he's telling this story. And Kill 'Em and Leave is one of James Brown's saying. He always said after a performance, or we're getting ready to do a performance, he's going to kill 'em and leave. There's no sense in hanging around. Just do your thing and get up out of there. And so I learned a lot, because James Brown is a Georgia icon. Even though he was born in South Carolina, he spent the majority of his life in Augusta, Georgia. So he's considered a son of Georgia. And so a lot of the places that were relevant to his life are near where I live. And so I had no idea, because, his popularity really was before I was born. I knew who he was, of course, but it wasn't when he was spending the majority of the time in these places. I wasn't born yet. So it was interesting for me to see those places on page. James McBride is a phenomenal writer. He can write fiction, nonfiction. He has a short story collection. If you have not read anything by James McBride, you are missing out. Check him out. Okay, so the next question is, what #ReadSoLit new release are you excited about this year? I don't know. Whatever comes out, if it sounds good, I'll pick it up. I just haven't been all that into what's coming out lately. The next question. A lot of us diehard fans refer to Toni Morrison as the queen. Which writer do you feel could be the next queen in African American literature? I agree with everyone about Bernice L. McFadden being probably the next queen. However, I believe that Jessamine Ward will have an impressive catalog eventually. She's already on her way. I think she has 5 books or something like that. So I think she could easily, maybe not easily, but I think over her writing career, she will also have an impressive catalog, as well as Roxane Gay. Both of them have the ability to write fiction and nonfiction, and also edit collections. So I really think those two will have impressive catalogs. Maybe Tiari Jones, I'm not sure yet. Some of her stuff kind of is maybe hit or miss. Matter of fact, this month I listened to Not That Bad, edited by Roxane Gay, and it's about rape culture. Whew, that was a heavy listen to, and it took the majority of the month. I was not aware of how much abuse that little boys go through. I have a sensitivity to that now because I have a nephew, and I would never want anything to happen to him that the guys in this rape culture collection talked about. The women, horrendous as well as queer individuals. I think this is an important book. It's an important collection. It is something that needs to be taught, discussed on every college campus. Probably could go all the way into high school. Read it. Form your own opinion. Feel free to let me know what you think about it if you have read it. Okay. What is the last book by an African American author you read, loved, and gave 4 or 5 stars? That would be The Unghosting. Turn Me Loose. The Unghosting of Medgar Evers, and it's by Frank X. Walker. Mr. Walker is a poet. He wrote this book. He penned these poems about the life of Medgar Evers, including his assassin in it. And the way he did it was the poems all have a voice, and the voice is told in the title. And the voices that were present in this book are Medgar's brother Charles, his wife Merle, his assassin, and his assassin's 2 wives. He does some very brilliant things and showing that there are really 2 thoughts when it comes to the South. White people tend to romanticize the good old days of the South and the wonders of the South when it truly was a nightmare for black folk. And he does that so brilliantly by having those different voices for the poems. Excellent, excellent. I have checked out some other books by him that I plan on reading, and Frank X. Walker is the bomb. The next question is, show some beautiful books by African American authors. Well, since we talked about the future queen, Bernice L. McFadden, this is Loving Donovan, and I love the artwork on this cover. It's so fun and whimsical. Haven't read it yet, but I plan on doing that. The next one is Friday Night at Honeybees, and this is by Andrea Smith. I love books that have have a painting on them. That's just beautiful. And this is an author that I have not heard anybody on BookTube talk about. In my book club, we read a book by her years ago called Sisterhood of the Blackberry Corner, and that was a good book. It talked about an underground adoption agency that was run by the Sisterhood of Blackberry Corner, where people that were abandoning their babies could drop the babies off of one of the sisters, and they would help get the baby to someone who really wanted them. And it was set like in the 50s. And so when I saw this at the thrift store, I had to pick it up and see if she's, her writings continues. Gotta get to reading it, but I love the cover. The next one is this book by the Queen, Toni Morrison, and it's Sula, and I love the way that this artwork is on that cover. Last one I have is Balm by Dolene Perkins Valdez, and it's just pretty. It just looks so pretty. I gotta get to reading it too. So the next question is, Black History Month is about its people. What book would you like to read to learn more about African Americans? Well, I love thinking about, different aspects of African Americans. So I wanted to listen to Under Fire by April Ryan. And April Ryan, if you haven't been watching the news, is a journalist, and she's in the White House press corps. And she's often been attacked during this presidency because she's a black woman and that has the audacity to question white men about the policies and the ongoings of this administration. I am a little disappointed in this book. It is actually kind of boring. it doesn't have the pizzazz I thought it would have, because I do follow her on social media, and she's always having smart things to say, and I just like, oh, this is gonna be good. I'm not getting it right now. The month is not quite over. I'll give her a few more days and listen to her on my way to work, but I'm gonna have to DNF it if it don't get no better. Last question is, show what you're currently reading from your hashtag Read Soul Lit TBR. That is Unforgivable Love. I have not finished yet, but I really want to. I'm falling asleep every night trying to get it read. I'm not used to reading a book over 300 pages. And I'm also still listening to the April Ryan book. So those are my two things that I'm reading at the current time. The last thing is, you're supposed to tag 5 people. Well, since this is like the end of the month, if you're watching it and haven't done it, please do it. That's just it. Just do it. And I agree with everyone. This is something that can be done in another month. It also can be done every year. So I got to make sure to do it next year, or if I feel led, like when I'm reading a whole bunch of hashtag Read Soul Lit books. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.